Hello, hello. This is Zach again. And again, I'm an engineer here at Flox. And today we're going to dive into some of the details of how to search and install like specific versions of packages that you're looking for. So let's hop over to the terminal and go ahead and get started. So if you're coming from other package ecosystems, there's often subtly different names for a given piece of software. So in the case of pip, if you're using, say, a Debian-based system or Ubuntu and you're using apt, the package name might be python3-pip, for instance. And in Homebrew, it might just be pip. So today we're going to look at what those kind of subtle naming differences look like. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to look at node. So we're going to do a Flox search node. And you'll see that the first result here is the package that we're looking for, but it's called nodejs, not node. So that is the first difference that you'll see here. And then down at the bottom, there's actually some suggestions for related search results. And so you'll see that not only do we have nodejs, we have nodejs underscore some versions. So let's do a search for nodejs and see what comes up. So you'll see that we have different packages for different kind of major versions of Node.js. So what is the difference between this Node.js and, say, any of these other things? So the answer is that this package is kind of a default Node version whose major version changes over time, whereas these are actually separate packages for each major Node.js version. So what that means is that if you install, say, Node.js 14, which is very old, don't do that. If you say Flox upgrade, you'll only get the latest in that 14 series. Whereas if you install Node.js here at some particular version, it will upgrade you to whatever the latest is for that package. So let's look at what's inside each of these. So we're going to say Flox show. This is how you see kind of everything that we know about a package, including which versions are available. So Node.js. So you see we have a bunch of versions, but the latest actually only goes up to 20. So the current LTS, if I remember correctly, is 22.10. So this package is, you can either say extremely stable or just out of date. So the next thing I'll show you, we also have a package description here, but you could probably see that in the search results as well. The next thing I'll show you is for some versions, you'll see that we have some systems listed in parentheses. So what that means is that there is at least one system on which this package is not available. And so the one that's missing here, and from these other ones, is AArch64 Darwin, which means essentially any macOS system with an Apple Silicon chip. And so that's probably because this was either released before there was support for it or something like that. So now let's look at the Node.js package for a particular version. So let's look at 22. You can see that we have, first of all, many fewer versions because it's not going all the way back to previous major versions, but it goes all the way up to the current version for this major version, which like I said, I think is 22.10. So again, if you were to install this Node.js package and say Flox upgrade, you would just get whatever the current version is for this 22 series. So that's Node.js. Next, we're going to look at a different package and see what installing a particular version looks like. Let's say that we want to install Node.js 23. So let's see Node.js 23, what versions are available. There's two of them. I'm going to say Flox install Node.js 23. The way that you specify a particular version is you use this @ symbol followed by the version. Now, there's a peculiarity with certain packages in our catalog. namely the ones where there's like a bunch of different versions in different packages. So for instance, Node.js 22, 23, 14, 16, etc. The version number is not just the number itself, but it's also like Node.js in this case. So I'm going to say Node.js, and this will improve at some point in the future. Node.js 23.2.0. Actually, let's do 1 because I want to show you something. So we look at the manifest, we'll see that not only do we have a line specifying the package that we want, but we now have a line specifying the version that we want. So let's back out of that. So now if I say Flox upgrade, nothing will happen. And the reason is that when you give a specific version number string, that's you telling Flox, I want this particular version. And so if you want to upgrade to a different one, you have to tell us which, you have to go do that manually. So you would just go in and edit your manifest to whatever the new version is. If we go look at a package that uses semantic versioning in our catalog, that will be slightly different. So let's go do that. So let's look at a package that has kind of a normal semantic version in our catalog. So we're going to say Flox show ripgrep. You can see the latest version is 14.1.1. And so what I'm going to do is show you that there's a few different ways to specify your version. So let's say Flox install ripgrep at 14. Now if I Flox list, see that it gives us the latest in 14 series. So let's uninstall. Similarly, if I install 14.1, it will also give me the latest in that 14.1 series. Hopefully that all makes sense. This is basic semantic version stuff. Hopefully that all makes sense for how to specify versions and see which versions are available. Let's say that you had trouble finding your package in the first place. Maybe it was not on the first page of results. So say, let's search for curl. So by default, Flox search only shows you the first 10 results. And so we have some heuristics for ranking these. But there's a total of 78. So there's a solid chance that the one that you were looking for might not be on this first kind of page of results. So the last thing that I'll show you here is how to see all of the results for a particular search query. And that's just the all flag. So we're going to search for curl, and you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here, and some of this is wrapping around, but yeah, so that's how you'd see all of the results. You can also see results as JSON. So we're going to delete this, say JSON curl, and you'll get one search result as a JSON object per line. That was wrong. You get it all as one array. Either way, you get it as JSON. Yeah, so that is searching and installing. Hopefully that all makes sense, and I will see you next time.